new ways. And they found out that what was really motivating these people was three factors that were not related to money. And they realized that money are a good motivator if the skill that they have to perform is barely mechanical or does involve cognitive, creative skills. If that's okay, you give money, you're doing the movement, you stay in the motion, awesome. As soon as the skill involves some rudimentary cognitive skills, some creativity, something more, some thinking, the work of the money doesn't work anymore. And that's the reason why today we have a Wikipedia that in 1980 was impossible for every economist to think about and say, oh, sure, in 2012 we have somebody that is doing Linux, the famous software, okay, that is completely open source. Nobody is paid. They are involved in that project thousands of hours. What are the factors that lead people to that? The factors are three. And I will write it here to have a little visual. Autonomy, mastery, and guess what's last? Purpose. Ooh. No, I haven't drawn anything, just a name. Just a name. I don't want to suggest anything. Okay? I don't have any agenda. The last is purpose. And that was quite interesting as approach. And I love the explanation. So, what is about purpose, mastery, and autonomy? Well, Daniel described autonomy, let's see if I can write it here, this is another column, as the desire, oh no, this doesn't work. The desire to be self-directed. Mm-hmm. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Then the mastery is the urge that every human being have to be better at stuff. Whatever we do, we want to excel. So whatever we are doing, we really want to have, how do you say in English? The knack? You know, when you say something, the knack. Somebody, oh, that person has the knack. That's, really, he's grasping that, he's holding that. And then this guy here, are you ready? I know you don't know it. Is making a contribution. I know, it's new stuff. Is really making a contribution and is becoming really important. And there is another stuff that Daniel highlight. Thank you. And Daniel, let's see if it doesn't work without the blue. Daniel highlights another point, also overcoming a challenge. Is very purposeful. Overcoming challenges, even if it sounds a little, we are coaches and we think, oh my God, but this is negative. The fact that overcoming a challenge is I want to go over my barrier. Okay? So overcoming challenges, I put it in brackets. Okay? Overcoming challenges. Or specifically, I would say a challenge. Something quite big that is on our road to self-actualization. The first time I was listening about self-actualization, I was studying Carl Gustav Jung. a beautiful German psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever, that I consider my...
Austrian.
Austrian. Austrian, yeah, that's correct. That I like to consider my spiritual grandfather. At a certain point in my life, I decided to have spiritual mentors. And so I created my own...
Family tree?
Your
own family tree?
My own family tree. The one my own family tree.
Totally. I'm enrolled.
And I have my real ancestors, which I love and I love forever because I am here for them. And then I've decided I want to also have some other spiritual person that I estimate, because sometimes in some moment it happened to me to read, as everybody here, that we have a reading and we say, oh, that's a great idea. And the reading was saying, if you begin to see something, it comes to you. And there was no law of attraction back then. We are speaking about 20 years ago, who was talking about law of attraction, But it was just the idea of having something, So I was watching the picture of the founder of the martial arts, Morihei Ueshiba, and I was thinking, oh, that's so cool. So I put him there too. So Carl Gustav Jung said something like self-actualization, and he was really actually a very courageous man, because he had the courage to go against the credo of the moment, as Milton did. So when later on I put also Milton in my spiritual situation, because I love him as well. I love courageous men and women, people that are able to make differences and they stand for something. Sometimes to death, but I prefer those that are so smart.
Stay alive. That's hilarious. You prefer the women and the men that stay alive.
And they really manage, because there is a story about Milton that is quite fascinating. There is a moment in which the whole psychology team of America wanted to burn him out. No, they couldn't, Once in Italy we had a joke. We were saying, look, that the church is going to show you the match. When you were inconvenient for the church, when they could back then, okay, there was the match ready for you. So the moment that the community of the American psychotherapists and psychologists and psychiatrists, he was so able to go around the obstacle instead of clash to make a great legacy. So, when Carl was talking about self-actualization again, it was all this muddled idea up there. Okay, I self-actualize, I do meditation, and I did, But when I read Daniel Pink, things began to get together. And a few days ago, when I received that's why I began talking about why they invited us here. When I was receiving the email and they said, I'd love to say something to them. There is something that I want to tell them. What do I want to tell them? And as I was going around and beginning to figure it out, I said, Daniel, it's important. Okay, Daniel is making a difference with his contribution. And as I was playing with that, it happened that I took a pen and I did this. And I realized that the autonomy, it's in the bottom, it's in the environment. It's where you can be where and when you can be self-directed. It's about having freedom in creating the life you want, in the space you want, with the person you want to work, on what you want to work, and how you want to work. Total freedom.